Welcome to Under the Plumb Bob, the podcast about all things related to the EA Max's series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made-up ones. And today, we have Sims 1 era console games. This is something that everyone has been requesting and we've been trying to get to for a while. And finally, after 4 a.m. research several nights. So, I am Jen. I am here with Vanity.
Hi guys! I'm back! Did you miss me? Did you guys miss me? I haven't been on an episode in a hot second unless you're in our Patreon and you heard me on the bonus episode. But
With Julia, yeah.
Yeah, about all things all things American / Texan. I mean, it was great. We had to do a sequel on that one because she still had more questions and it was going long. But yeah, you ever heard from me in such a super long time? And then if you're one of the ones who like salt, stay tuned.
Yes. I feel like at this point I've been in every salty episode as my main episode. I'm here now and I'm just like the salt princess.
This is the thing though, like I don't have the salt for any of the original ones. They were fine. I mean, they were limited by what they could do based upon the console that they're on. Everything was fine until they decided to be so ethnic, so urban.
Yeah.
And that's when I got uncomfy. I don't know who was at that table, but I know there was not a black person at that table.
Oh no.
Not a one. POC was sitting at that table when they decided to launch this out. They did not make a full educated decision. But we'll get there.
Yeah, and there's some names that they chose.
So uncomfy.
Yeah. I was like,
If you listened to what episode it was on, we like kind of swinged by this a little bit by the Urbz. I forget what episode it was, but we you heard some of my salt. This is a deep dive.
Yeah. So it's I put in a few of the notes. That was last episode. These games are really, really of their time.
They are. Look, these all came out in what, 2003?
Yes, 2003 to 2005, I think it said, for the Urbz.
So let's just do this, guys. Let's turn on our wavy time back machines of back to the early aughts, back to the age of boy bands that aren't Asian, the age of Boy Meets World and all of those other things. Felicity, I think, was still on. The age of early aughts.
One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill was a beast. And if you don't listen to Drama Queens, you should. It's all of the girls from One Tree Hill watching through all the episodes from the beginning, and it is amazing.
I didn't know they watched it. I heard about it, but I didn't know they watched it.
Yeah, so they watch it. They watch the episode, I think, right before they record, and then they talk about it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And so it's Brooke, Peyton, and Haley, or Sophia, Hillary, and Bethany Joy. But yes, so we're gonna make our way back in time. You have to understand, if you are of the younger variety, I know we got some young bucks that listen to us here. Some people who are still in their double digits, but the first digits are just the one.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know, and it's okay. But I want you guys to know, back then, the internet was dial-up.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have a second phone line to get into anything. Your video games all looked a little crusty by graphics versions, and you couldn't hold much of anything. There was still a Game Boy, y'all, because this was on the GBA, the Game Boy Advance.
I think me and Jess were talking about it, and it was the brick. It was like a brick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like, it looked like the old like gray Game Boy from like the early 90s, late 80s kind of a deal, but it was thinner. And I don't think you put cartridges in it. I don't remember.
Was that the one that was the square, not the one that's like the long that looks like a cell phone? Not a cell phone.
Let me now I have to Google because I don't actually remember. Hold on. Okay, no, it did. It was like kind of a rectangular thing. It looked almost like a sidekick.
Okay. I did not have one of those.
Oh
I
no
wish
no
I
no!
did.
I had one of these guys.
That's the one I was thinking of
Yeah,
at first.
the one that's like a flip phone.
Yeah.
I had that one. But yes, so I don't even think Game Boys exist anymore. Like for playing shit on, they might. I don't know. I'm too old. But that's where we are in our timeline. Okay, we are very. I was 17. I am no longer 17.
I was 14 in 03.
17. So it was my junior year of high school or senior year, depending on what time you're in there. I graduated in 04. So you can do math, guys, and figure out how old I am. No Common Core here. You better use all of your numbers.
All of us are old in this podcast.
Oh yeah, we're all. Well, that's the thing. You have to think about it. Like, of course we're all old because this game came out in 2000.
Yes.
We're all old.
And we were like children playing it, not like Plumella talking about, I played it when I was 5. I was like, I was 11.
Right? Like, you played it when you were 5 means you just smashed buttons and walked around. Like, you weren't like getting the little the heart bed and trying to look around while your parents are around so they can woohoo in the bed. Like, you never see this, right?
And then it was, my poor Catholic soul was like, girls can woohoo? Wait a minute. Oh, think that this might have triggered something in my brain.
What is this? But yeah, so this is when so The Sims came out in like 2000, and this came out like, they tried to capitalize on the fact that people were not just PC gaming at this point because the Xbox in general came out around that time, I think.
I had a PlayStation 1. It was called PlayStation 1. It was a thinner PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I had that. I got that for my 12th Christmas when I was 12, I think. And that was after the one had been out for a while.
So the Xbox original, which is what this was on, came out in 2001. So they were really trying to be like capitalizing. So the Sims itself came out in 2000, and then the console game actually came out in 2003. So they were actually trying to be really, hip on the game and trying to be console with PC. I mean, they later lagged in that and said, "Fuck you, console games," for like quite some time. But so yeah, that's when that happened. I think they were all on. I think all platforms. Yeah, they were on PS2, the Xbox, and the GameCube.
Yes,
the GameCube. I never had one of those because I stopped getting Nintendo. I had a N64, and then that was it. And then my cousin lived with us, and we got an Xbox. But
so we have like all the old consoles because he's a gamer, and it's like I think we have a PS2 in there. I think we do have a PlayStation, the little PlayStation 1, and we have a PS2, a GameCube, PlayStation 1, and I think we do actually have the Urbz for the GameCube in there, but I didn't play it for this.
So you're good. No one needs to play that game. I used to have an N64. An ex got it for me because I loved that console, and I never got to beat Bomberman or Yoshi's Story or Glover. Those are my three favorite games. And then when I moved to Alaska, the mover stole it. So never. Lucky me.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah, I was a little mad. Okay, so back on track here. All of the console games, they had like a general like goal in it. There's like, okay, you're gonna start from the bottom, now we're here kind of a deal. They're very Drake-esque, if you will. You can also like, I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe they thought people who played console were a little more hip than people who played on PC games, because you can do some shit. Like, you were stealing from people. You were like giving the people the finger. You were like pinching their booties. Like, they were doing all kinds of stuff. And I was just like, you can give anybody the finger in a PC game.
I feel like that would be a Tony Hawk thing to put in if you did. Because I played Tony Hawk 3 religiously when I got a PS2, and I feel like there was some stuff in there, because it was PG, it was like 13 or whatever, teen. So, like, you could do things that you weren't normally going to do. But, really quickly, we have a spoiler alert, because these games have story-based aspects. So these games are probably older than some of you, so go on YouTube and watch them and come back or check out one of our other episodes. But if you don't want anything spoiled, now's your time to click out. But if not, continue on with us because, I mean, like I said, these games are old, and if they're spoiled, then you've had 17 years to play them.
And it's funny because it's okay, very similar to when we did the Life Stories episode. Like, that was, we spoiled the shit out of it. There's nothing you can do about it. But in that episode, you can actually download Life Stories now and play it, like, from some downloader.
Oh, cool.
Yes. But you can't, I mean, like, honestly, you can try to play the console version of these games, but good luck and see if they're backwards compatible if you have any of the big gaming systems. So
PlayStation 2s are not cheap. We had to get a replacement, and this was like probably 4 years ago, maybe, and it wasn't cheap. And I'm sure it's gotten even like more expensive
and harder to find. Like, it's just hard to find them. So basically, the way it works is you have to start out in the get a life mode, which makes me laugh.
Sims 1.
Oh yeah, Sims 1. So the original, the OG, the start of it all. You have to like play through Get a Life, at least somewhat, before you can unlock the like free play, like play the Sims mode. And the Get a Life mode, like, I'm trying to remember, like, when I played it. The reason why I liked the consoles was because I like you to tell me what to do.
Yes.
And these are the ones that you have a linear kind of thing of what to do in like it's actually like story mode, like if you play any kind of console game, you have like, role playing like console game, you got story mode, like Dragon Age Inquisition. I will never not mention that every time I can. Inquisition, best game ever. Ava and I love it. Talk about it all the time. Dragon Age is the shit.
I think we have it, but I haven't played it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the best. Like, my roommate has watched me play through it like 3 times, with changing our decisions and everything like that. Like, it's such a good game. Anywho, so you start out at like your mom's house, I think, right?
Yes, and she's like, it's a real tiny little house, and like she visits you all the time, and it's really obnoxious.
She's like, get out, get a job, do this, do this, blah blah blah. And she's your mom. I mean, because you're like an adult living in her house. Like, get your life together, Carol.
That wasn't a thing that you did in the 2000s. Nowadays, it's kind of like we're all broke, so we don't really have a choice. In the 2000s, it was like you had money and you could go.
This is the thing for all you youngins. If you were born in the ye old 1900s, and especially in the 1900s and 80s, early 90s, you have experienced like 3 recessions.
Yeah.
So in the early 2000s, everything was fat cats. Like, in the 80s, it was like, get your money, honey, get out and do what you gotta do. College is great, and we're gonna have a good old time, and you're gonna become a CEO of Land Grab University. And then like 2 or 3 years later, they're like, everybody's broke, you can't get anywhere, college is going to drain you, and then when you finish college, you're going to work at Burger King for $2 an hour.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened, and that keeps happening. That's why when this last one just happened after the whole panini, that's why all of us are having like some weird like stress reaction where we're twitching to ourselves. We're like, oh god, here we go again.
Yes, and it's like, I turned 18 as soon as that recession hit. So it was like, your family's boomers. So it's like, you got to go get a full-time job right now. And I'm like, but I just graduated high school. What do I do? You got to get a full-time job, and you have to go to college, and you have to pay all your bills with that, and you're going to be fine. And I'm like, there's no jobs. I had to work at the fast food at the airport. And they're like, that's not good enough.
I'm like, that's all I can do, okay?
There's no jobs. It's a recession.
As you cry in the corner. And then also, that's why, like, I was baptized in recessions, and that's why I've had a roommate my entire adult life. Because I'm so terrified of living on my own and another recession happening and being not able to pay my rent.
Yeah. And we all live in constant fear of becoming broke and homeless because that's been shoved down our throats.
and it's happened. So anywho, so the mom get out of your house mode is very apropos for the 2003s.
Yes.
Basically, you have to like work your way up from being in your mom's house to like taking over Malcolm Landgrab's mansion, which is hilarious because you get that top hat money. But you can't have a whole bunch of stuff, like, because if you've never played with an Xbox, PS2, GameCube, or whatever, their memory was shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you tried to save too many games, all you heard was like your whole system was starting to like have a heart attack and seize. It's like when your laptop is like starting, you can hear the fan going in your laptop. That's how the whole entire console sounded. It sounded like it was about to like take off and fly into space. Like, that's how loud it was. So no, you couldn't have a bunch of shit. So they gave you like a limiter on how much you can have, but you can like sell a whole bunch of shit and get a whole bunch of money. Like, that's the cheat way of doing that. But yeah.
And didn't in this game, because I know in Bustin' Out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, didn't they like if you sold too much, didn't this also say, hey, I'm charging you money because you sold all my stuff?
Yeah, they charged like a tax on it or some stupid shit like that. Like, it was stupid. Basically, if you again are of my age and you ever played a game called Mall Madness, and it was this stupid like board game, and your whole goal was like to fill up your shopping list at the mall, but you only had a certain amount of money, and you can use like a charge card whenever the bank would be open, but then like try to charge too much, it'd be like, sorry, you can't charge anymore, or whatever it is. It was ridiculous, and I would love to own that game again.
I didn't get to play that because I was an only child, and
oh no,
yeah, I was like, I'll play by myself, and then it's like, this isn't fun.
my sister's 3 years older than me, but we had like the Saved by the Bell board game. We had the Are You Afraid of the Dark board game.
Oh, cool! I didn't know they had those.
They did. We had a game called 13 Dead End Drive, which was like Clue, but you would fall into traps and die that way. It was great. Like a painting would fall on your little pieces, and then you're out.
Oh, I didn't get to play that, but like I would see it on Nickelodeon. They would advertise it.
Yeah, we had that game. I love board games, and I've loved them since I was a kid. The only game I hated as a kid was Mousetrap because it took 99 years to put it together, and it was horrible because it had a lot of like pulley systems and like rubber bands and shit.
Yes.
It was horrible. My sister and I spent like the whole day putting it together, and then we put it in the corner of our room because we didn't want to like take it down again to put it back in the box. We're like, we're not. This is going to stay here.
Let's not have to do that again tomorrow.
Seriously, like 13 Dead End Drive and Mousetrap stayed erect and in the corner of our rooms until we wanted to play it because we didn't want to put it back together again because they sucked. Okay, so anyway, once you unlock your Play the Sims mode in Sims 1, that's when you can kind of like, it's like free play, but you are very limited in what you can do because, again, it's a fucking console and your memory is shit. Remember the rocket launcher. So that's what it feels. It sounds like a freaking lift off of space. So
yes.
You only have 6 careers, and there are less items. There are only 1 floor available. Like, you can't build multiple stories in your home. But things were easier to do. Like, you could promote way faster because you didn't need nearly as many friends because there weren't enough people. There weren't enough people to be friends with.
Yeah, because you couldn't. I don't think you could make a lot of other Sims either.
No, because again, you didn't have the space.
Right.
Like, you had the OG families, the Goth, the Newbies, the Roomies, the Pleasants, and the Bachelors. But the Pleasants and the Bachelor family weren't on game. Like, they're in like the bin.
Yeah.
But the Get a Life mode was actually, I say, it was my favorite version of it. Like, I didn't really do the Play the Sims regular mode because I would play my Sims on my PC for that. But the Get a Life mode, because you don't have that in the Sims PC version, it was just like objectives. You would advance from house to house, and you would get, so first you were like unemployed, like every other 18-year-old, and living in your mom's house. And then you can get a mansion and a yacht. But the funny part about the yacht was you never can get on it.
No.
It was just there in your backyard to look at.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything because there's no water.
And then, let me say this, in The Sims 2, I don't know if you played that on the console, but there was a cruise ship, and me and Jess talked about that, and I always wanted to play on the cruise ship, but you didn't sail, and I was like, I want to sail.
Why are you here if I can't use you? But you could also do 2-player mode. 2-player mode was actually quite interesting because, again, I hardly had anybody to play with for 2-player mode, so I didn't really get to like do it, but it sounded fun.
I would help watch my cousin. He's 7 years younger than me, so like, of course he was terrible at this because I was 13, he was like 6, and I'm like, I'm so good at this, and I probably wasn't good at this. I was just playing against the 6-year-old.
Oh yeah, no. Let me tell you, if I could reach back into time and find my early like Sims saves or whatever, you'd be like, "Good God, Vanity, you were dumb." And I'm like, "I know." Families with like 19 people in it, like.
I would love that.
Like everybody's like taking turns sleeping in the beds because there's not enough beds because everybody's poor, and you're buying like lots of pizza because you didn't have any money.
Pizza.
I miss the pizza delivery guy because like that saved my life.
And now it's like pizza's boring because now you have like 50 other foods you can cook.
Right, but like the pizza was like 2 simoleons, and again, it's how you survived. It was very realistic.
Yeah, it really is. Especially $5, $6 Domino pizzas.
Look, let me tell you how that pick 2 for $6.99 or whatever, $5.99, like saved my life so many times. Because you get a medium pizza, and then you can get like, I don't know, some lava cakes, and you can do that for 2 days.
And, well, it's like you get 2 or more, so you can get like 2 pizzas, lava cakes, bread, the bread bowl, not bread bowl,
the breadsticks, the stuffed breadstick thingies. Look,
and like that can be like 4 meals, and then
especially for splitting the thing with somebody. Look, that has saved me.
Yeah,
in my when I got tired of eating like the leftover shit in my pantry, and I don't want anybody to know that I was poor because I keep my financial situation to myself. Even like if I live with you, you're not gonna know I'm poor. But I was like, you want to order a pizza so they could split it with me so I can get like stop eating ramen. You know what? They don't have ramen in The Sims, and I feel like they should.
They have instant noodles now, I think. Maybe. I think it's one of those real cheap foods that you can't.
Oh, in the microwave.
Yeah.
I never have a microwave.
Yeah, I mean, it's pointless. Mine is just decoration at this point, so it's like, look, this guy's a cook. He's got a microwave. And like probably chefs now are listening to this, like, we don't use microwaves.
Well, the thing about a microwave is like anytime you made anything in it, they're like, this was gross.
Yeah.
Negative moodlet. And I'm just like, bitch, if you don't stop being so cranky about eating that instant noodle.
It's cold in the middle. So, okay.
Put it back in the microwave.
I mean.
That's what we all do. Stir it.
Mix it up. So if you have a hot pocket, approach it, push the filling down, push it back and forth, and it'll get warm.
Stir it up so the hot parts go into the cold parts, and now you can eat it. Don't be a little bitch. We've all struggled. None of us complained.
Hot pockets and get over it.
Yes. Eat your like whatever the fuck. What is it, like instant noodles or something, and leave me alone.
Yeah. It's either a cup of noodles or it's instant noodles. I can't remember, but because when you go to university in The Sims, you don't get ovens.
Yeah.
Campus, and that's the only reason I know that, because it gets really annoying.
I think there's oatmeal as well.
Yes.
And then they never like the oatmeal. And I'm like, well, then fuck you guys. I don't like oatmeal that much either, but I'm going to eat it.
You can spruce it up a little bit, but it's still oatmeal at the end of the day. It's not.
Right. It's still kind of like somebody kind of chewed it and then you already put it and you're putting it in your mouth now kind of a feel. It's okay. Yeah. Better than cottage cheese. Okay. Because cottage cheese makes me want to yak. Anyhow.
Oh, can I just brag for a second?
Yes.
The 2-player thing. I wrote this And I put it on the Sims Wiki. So when you see it on the Sims Wiki now, just know I put it in there.
Look at you! Look at you publishing shit. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So, well, now I guess we're gonna say, Jen's notes of the 2-player games. Quote it. We have to thank you in the shout-outs because you were the Sims Wiki.
Yeah! Good job, me.
So you have the museum. This one was always something I wanted to play, but again, I had no one to play with, but you conned people. The whole point was, like, to get people to invest and, like, you swindle their money. That was the whole point.
Yeah, and this one, and then the next one was one me and my cousin would play, and it was like, he didn't know what he was doing, and I'm like, you gotta talk to people and you gotta get their money, and he was like, what? I don't know. I'm sick.
You're like, well, I will win then. So you had like 10 minutes and you had to like socialize with all the people who were in the museum and get them to like give you money. And whoever got the most money wins. Again, realistic.
Yeah. There's swindle rich people at the museum.
Look. Gift of gab get you so far. And then there's the handyman's house / the maid's house. And I love your description. It's like, he might fix up your house, but he lives like a pig.
Oh, I saw that from the game.
Yeah, I just making me laugh. Tidy up the side of the duplex he assigned to you, and he'll give you a heart. He gives extra hearts if he know his kid is happy too. So his kid is in this slumness. His kid lives in the slums with him. Or a CPS.
I know, because there's CPS in The Sims now. At this point.
I know. They come and get you. They will come and get your kid. And, like, have no qualms about it. You can't even, like, ask for it back. Like, no, don't take my kid. No, we don't care. We're coming anyway. And they come and just scoop it out. Your kid's gone forever.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's cool. Then you have the park where you can basically be a beggar. If you go to the park, you're literally the guy on the side of the road with a sign. And it's uncomfy.
Yeah. That's something, like I said, you can't really, I mean, you can, but, like, it's not good to do that now. Like,
no, look, this game, there are certain things in this game that you would not be able to pull off and putting it in a game in the 2020s. Yeah. The frat house. Who has the most friends? You have to make 3 friends at the party and spread rumors about the other Sims to ruin their friendships. The first player to get 3 friends to party in the hot tub wins.
Oh no.
Seems sus, guys. Seems sus. You know what I don't want to be? In a hot tub with frat boys.
2 bros chilling in the hot tub.
Just 2 bros chilling in the hot tub. Don't make it weird. Or do. Because, you can do what you want. And they had Taylor's Place. The Thief of Hearts. Make more guests fall in love with you than your opponent in 10 minutes. But play with love carefully. Guests won't fall in love with both players at the same time. Now, I feel like in this one, if you're trying to get everybody to fall in love with you, would they start a fight? Was there any, like, because you know how, like, if you are with somebody and they love you and then you try to flirt with somebody else in front of them, they go and they smack you?
I feel like I think we did play the frat house in this one because he thought it was funny that I think that, like, they would go by and slap you in the face if you were flirting in front of them, and because I think he thought he was sick, so he's like, haha, that's really funny, they're slapping each other.
Little did you know, my guy. Little did you know. And then finally, there's the party motel. Get ready to party hardy with Dudley. He sounds like he'd be a great time at a party. Dudley. With Dudley and Mimi's friends, the player with more guests to lift at their party after 10 minutes wins. And remember, you can tell your guest to crash the other party and ruin it. This just seems shitty. All this is about sabotage. Like, I feel like this would be one of those, like, the 2-player mode in The Sims would be what would, like, break up friendships.
Yeah, because, I mean, I was, like, I would laugh because I won against a 6-year-old, and I was like, "It's funny, I'm better than you," and he's like, "Oh."
But think if you're playing against another 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, that shit would cause, like, the sleepover to be over.
You ruined my life.
Like, I want to go home. You're mean. Like, this would just be a rap. Like, you're calling your mom to come pick you up and take you home because she was, I just feel like this is like Monopoly, but in Sims version. The shit ruins
Yeah.
families.
That would be fun. Monopoly the Sims.
They used to have, okay, so I was telling this to my boyfriend and he was laughing at me because my sister's 3 years older than me, so she didn't want to like hang out with me a lot because like she hit 13 while I was still 10.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, so we diverged. And so I would play a lot of like just computer games and stuff. That's how I got into The Sims. But we also had this Hasbro CD-ROM game, and it had Monopoly on it. It had categories. It had Life. It had Yahtzee. That's how I learned how to play Yahtzee, by the way. It was from this game. But it had all these things, and I would play Monopoly all the time because it was so much fun. And that's how I learned that Baltic Avenue and the other one, that the other purple one, it looked like shit because when you would land on that area, it would show you like a vignette of what it looks like. And Baltic Avenue had like it was like a dumpster, it was like a landfill. That's why it was so cheap.
Oh.
And it was just so cool that like I loved that game. And I really wish I could find it like to play it again, just because it was so much fun. Just because you play Monopoly against like the computer, so you don't have to have anybody else to play with you. All right, so next is Jen's favorite.
Yes.
Busting Out.
I played this religiously, and then like the fashions were like perfectly like 2004. I mean, it came out in 2003, but it was like, I'm gonna make Britney. I love Britney. So like I would always make Britney, and I would play Britney as my playthrough because it had like, back in the day she wore those page boy hats. Is that what they're called? And I got a bunch of those because Britney wore them. And I was like, I would play through as her because like it had the perfect fashion for her, and it was so fun. And then I was obsessed with all the characters like Mimi, Dudley. I loved Mimi and Dudley in this one. I didn't like them in the other one. And now I like make them in my game by Malcolm having babies with someone. Yes, this was my favorite. And I watched Kevin play this. And like, Kevin, I love him to death, but sometimes he frustrates me because he doesn't play correctly. So I'm like, that's not how you play the game, Kevin. You're supposed to like unlock things. You're not supposed to just be mean to them.
You're not doing it right.
Yes. And then he's like this video if you want me to play more. And I'm like,
I will thumbs down your video because you suck.
You're ruining my game, Kevin.
Damn you, Kevin.
I love you though, Kevin. Please be my friend.
So, this one is probably the same way. You still have to unlock free play mode.
Yes. And it was on like the handhelds, the storylines. So this is another thing that me and Jess covered in the last one. These console and handhelds are like different games completely than the console version. And then this one, like Sims 1 for the little handhelds was only in Japan. It was region locked. So Sims Bustin' Out for the handhelds is the Sims 1 for the handhelds, but they changed the name.
Huh.
Yeah. So basically, you have completely different characters in the console, the little handhelds rather. So, I mean, it's the same thing. You go to a farm and you have to work your way up there.
Not a farm.
It's like, you go to the farm during summer vacation. It says,
did you get left there? Like Country Mouse, City Mouse kind of a shit? They abandoned you at a farm?
It's a punishment. And then you realize, apparently, that something else is going on. And I guess I didn't put this in the notes, but essentially you find out that, like, I think everybody is, like, working against you on purpose. Or there's, like, some sinister forces going on. I forget what it said, and I don't know why I didn't.
What kind of horror movie? All I can think of being on the farm is when David in Schitt's Creek. But he's with the Amish and he's sitting in the...
holding the antenna.
There's a bug on you. Oh, I'm coming. Schitt's Creek is great, but that's all I can think of being on a farm. Like, you just get abandoned out there. You're like, what the fuck? I don't want to be in this. What is this? What is this, Dune?
Yeah, but some people think that farms are the way to go. But
I don't mind a farm. I just want to be. I don't want to be just abandoned there though. Like I want to make my choice. I don't want to just. I don't want you to say, "Hey, we're going to go on a vacation," and then I turn around and you're gone.
bye, Mom and Dad. Wait, where are you going?
Wait, we're just going to go to the restroom really quick. We'll be right back. Okay, cool. See you in a minute. And then they just don't come back.
We left Timmy on the farm instead of we took the dog went to the farm.
Timmy went to the farm.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, what the fuck?
He went to the farm. Oh no.
Oh yeah, so apparently Malcolm is repossessing items.
Yeah, in the console you have Malcolm, in the handhelds you have Daddy something.
Creepy.
Uncle Hayseed, my bad. Or no, there's Daddy Big Bucks. So Daddy Big Bucks is Malcolm.
Daddy Big Buck sounds like a pimp.
It's very uncomfy.
Right? I'm Daddy Big Bucks.
Like, now I'm listening to this and I'm like, is Malcolm just Donald Trump?
Yeah. So you have, okay. Sorry, I just read this line and made me laugh so hard. Okay. All right. So yeah, you have the characters of Mom, Malcolm, Mimi, Dudley, Leah Grab, Mortimer, and Bella Goth, and the Tooties and the Fruities.
Yeah, that was like the weird.
Please tell me they're gay.
No, it's a family you're supposed to marry, essentially. Like, that's where you're supposed to get the people that you're supposed to marry to, like, move up. But I would get rid of them because, like, I'm like, this is just stupid.
I just really, really love that the names of the Tooties and the Fruities. Like, who the hell did that? I love you. I love you to pieces.
From The Sims 1. They were, like, one of the families you stayed with to party. So, like, if you were a girl, you'd go with either... If you were a girl or a guy, it would depend what family you went with. Because I don't remember which one was the males and which one was the females.
By the way, so your sim finds itself working on Uncle Hayseed's farm during the summer vacation. That's shitty. Upon first playing, my vacation is working in a farm.
Yeah.
Players may think their sim's parents sent them to work on the farm as punishment. In reality, there are some sinister forces. So in the handheld version, you have death, how you handle death, right? So you can pass out due to drowning, hunger. You can die from hunger, you can die from electrocution, die from fire, or possession by the ghost of Ephraim Earl. Ghost possession, guys. Ghosts. Or you could be eaten by a Venus flytrap. And look, okay, so I bought a Venus flytrap at the store. And they are really small. They don't get very big. I feel like Little Shop of Horrors like made us think that they're huge and they can eat people, but they're literally like the size of like my fingernail. They're very small. So no, you will never get eaten by a Venus flytrap. So that fear can be gone. But you can always be afraid that you'll still be, collapsed into a Murphy bed. That fear can stay. But you can also be knocked out by a boxer, so you could literally be KO'd. You could be KO'd to death. Guys, this is sketch. Mad Willie hurts ya. Mad Willie hurts ya. That's his name. That's the boxer.
Jess loves these puns like this, and we talked about it, and she's like, sometimes they're a little much, and I'm like, yes, this is one of those that's a little much.
Mad Willie hurts ya. Will hurts ya by killing you. Or Dusty Hogg, who's a biker. Or Eddie Riddlin, which is the gym owner. All of us can kill you. Or you can run into a Velocirooster. What the fuck is that? Is that an animal?
I forget, but I think that it is because they had really weird things in the dual handheld.
So also, every time a sim passes out, which is how they say you're dying, you pass out, because that's how that works, a genie will come and send them to the hospital or to the Hayseed farm if you haven't made it out of the farm yet. But in the console version, you can just straight up die. They don't give a shit. You're not going to pass out. No, you're going to die. But in the handheld version, you can't die. They don't allow you to die. They just have you pass out repeatedly. I just like that they just kept it real with the Sims on the console. They're like, no, you gonna die, bitch. We don't pass out here. We die. You're welcome.
I wonder why though. Like, I wonder why maybe it's because the handhelds have less memory and it's more memory to die than it is to pass out.
Is it? maybe it's a younger audience that might have the
Oh yeah, probably.
handheld,
And they're like,
we don't want you to know that death exists.
You talk to your parents about that.
Talk to mommy and daddy about death. So let's see. Other cool little tidbits in the handheld that aren't in the console, though. There's no room motive. It's replaced by the homesick motive.
So, like, back in the day, I think even in the regular Sims 1, you had room, but I think it was environment.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing anymore, thank God, because that was so friggin' annoying.
Basically, like, they don't want to go, they want to, like, stay at home. And if we leave home, like, then that's when you're like, oh, I want to go back home. I think it's like the loner. It's a loner, like, thing now.
Yeah, probably.
So there's also no time control settings in the handheld, aside for sleeping. So basically, you just gotta trudge through. You can't speed that shit up.
And you'll want to speed it up because it's like, I don't want to watch you cook. I don't want to watch you go to work.
I don't want to watch you work out to get that skill level up. Like, stop. There's no buy mode or build mode. You have to buy it from the store. But there's no repo man, which is sad. I liked when he came with his little, like, vacuum thing and, like, sucked your shit up.
Yes, I forgot about him. We haven't had him in 7 years now.
Yeah, I missed the repo man. He had this huge vacuum and just suck your shit up into the vacuum until you paid enough for your bills.
And then you don't get your stuff back. You have to buy it again. And
yep.
Yeah.
And it's possible to partially pay off your bills, and then so the rest can be paid off later. So you can, like, only pay the most important ones, and then you pay the other ones later, which is, life.
Yeah. Sometimes your electric comes before your credit cards.
I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do. So in the console version, Malcolm Landgrab is going around the neighborhood, like, repossessing items in return for unpaid rent. Like, Malcolm Landgrab's a total asshole.
Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The whole objective is to complete your career track and then, like, buy back everyone's possessions, like some, like, weird Robin Hood character, and then you evict Malcolm from his mansion and move into his mansion yourself, like some evil overlord or something. I don't know.
What we all wanted to do on election day.
Yeah, we evicted. Eviction stiction. So yeah, that's the whole point of that one. Like, if you're playing just, like, in the console version. All the lots and stuff, you have Mom's House, you have Dudley's Trailer, you have Mimi's Place, which is Mimi Landgrab, and then the Goth Manor. Because I love that the Goths just keep, they're just forever. The Goths are forever.
Mimi, I wanted to be Mimi so bad when I was, like, a teenager. I was like, I want this house, I want to dress like her, I want my hair like that, she's so cute. I just wanted to be her.
Aww.
But I was not Mimi. I was more, we will find out later, one of the skater kids in the Urbz.
She was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. Little Avril for you guys.
Yes.
So, I mean, look, I never played this one, so I feel like this is, but it looks like it's more fleshed out.
Yeah.
You get more stuff to do.
Yeah.
And then two-player mode, if you want to play that, is a little bit different, I guess, than in the regular Sims. And, like, normally you can, like, simply drop in it and play on others' ones, like, online version, I guess, or whatever. But in Bustin' Out, like, the second player will wipe on a bust from their memory card. I guess you had to, like, bring your card over.
I didn't ever play 2-player on this one, so I don't know how that works. But yeah, that kind of sounds like what it was. And they had online weekends, apparently. I had dial-up. I couldn't do this. So I don't know how any of that works.
Girl, who you telling? Who was able to do this?
Rich people.
I could barely log on to my email half the time. Like,
so, like, school. I know at school, they had, like, DSL for our computer room. So, like, DSL was a thing, but that was, like, I feel like businesses and rich people had DSL. My best friend had DSL. Love you. But.
So, of the two, I mean, if you're going to try to go back and replay something, go and replay Sims 2. Don't do Sims 1.
I just have to laugh at some of the names of this because there's Artificial and Charity Grant. Those kind of make me laugh. There's Tone's Gym with Max Tone and Goldie Tone.
Goldie Tone!
It cracked me up, and I'm like, I finished You Season 3 over the weekend, and I don't know if you've started that yet or if you watch it, but the neighbor guy looks like Max Tone, and it just kept throwing me off. And Casa Caliente, there's Bing Bling and Mona Lot. So that's something that you probably won't see now.
Look, Mona Lot?
Yeah.
Because they're the, if you're a movie star, fashion victim, or a jock career track, that's, that's where you would go.
Yeah, and you lived in a club. And then there's Club Rub.
Y'all, Club Rub, which is a 70s styles love shack.
Yes. And then the Octagon, you had General Payne and Maxine Powers. That's the fake Pentagon. Yeah, Pixel Acres, which was a nudist colony. And his name is Chase Skirts, and his partner is Ying Yangst. Yeah. And Tinsel Buffs, here's another funny name. This is like fake old school Hollywood people. Humphrey Hawks, I don't know that I get that, but Fanny Adore.
Humphrey Bogart.
Oh,
Bogart
is that
Hawks.
what they're... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Fanny Adore, yeah.
I'm still stuck on Randy Hart and Paisley Rainbow from the Love Shack.
Yeah.
Also, the Shiny Things Lab, which is a science lab full of items from Shiny Things Inc., is Makino Nada.
Yeah, because they're broke.
Mm-hmm. And Von Braun.
I don't get that one.
I'm just done with it. I'm like, y'all are ridiculous, and y'all had way too much fun doing this, and I love you guys. That's all I feel about it.
Again, things were different, and you could put jokes like that in a teen game, I guess, is more what this was. And you probably wouldn't do that nowadays, except to make like a prank call.
Aw, prank calls.
Yeah, and you can't do prank calls anymore, because everyone's like, I ain't answering this phone number I don't know.
Hashtag, that's me. If you're calling me, I'm not answering. I don't care if I do know your number. Why are you calling me? I'm going to assume something's wrong.
I said that to the lady at Costco. She goes, your phone's going off. And I was like, oh, it's 2000. It was like 2014. I was like, it's 2014. We don't answer our phones anymore.
I haven't, like, people are like, oh, like, you remember when ringers was such a big deal? Like, what you had as your ringtone?
Yeah.
My phone has been on vibrate since 2013, maybe 2012.
Yeah.
I've not heard my phone ring except when I get a new phone, and then I forget that it's the ringer's on. And I'm like, ew, what is that? No, vibrate.
I'll cover the GBA Engage real quick. The player always carries a Nokia handphone in the Engage version, and the Engage was a phone back in the day. Me and Jess covered that in the last episode. The handphone's absent from the GBA version. The player would find SIM cards scattered across Sim Valley to unlock the handphone games. The dark game's only available in the Engage version, and making calls using the public telephone costs 10 simoleons in the Engage version, while only costs 1 simoleon in the GBA. The jingle played when a goal is completed is different for both versions. And now we're on trivia.
All the trivia.
It's weird trivia. I just kind of copied and pasted stuff that was kind of cool, but not all of it. Some of it was like, who cares?
This one's cool because you know what I miss? Cars. There were a total of 10 ownable cars, only one which appeared in a later game in the series, the Spritzenfranken? I feel like that's something that Ava should say.
I want to hear Julia say that. I love listening to Julia say things. It's so cute.
Which appeared in The Sims 3 as a Bond Speedster YL. I miss cars. I get it. I get why we don't have them. I understand. But, I miss them still. Also horses, but we all know that.
Yes, and they're like, hey, let's put everything but horses in the farm back.
I was heated. I was like, we got a cow, we got a fucking alpaca or whatever, but where the hell? Just stretch it out. Where is my horse? I was real salty. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk. The salt will come out so hard. Like, how the fuck dare you?
You know what would have been even crappier, though? If they made the llama rideable. I would have lost it.
I would have absolutely lost it. I feel like they're already watching us anyway. They're in listening to the podcast, and I want horses, you fuckers.
Jess said that she doesn't have a plug, but because we had that unknown person in our folder, they're in there. They're like, oh, look at what they're doing. We're gonna release a new, because there's like that new thing, they're putting something in. I forget what it was.
It's not horses.
No, it's something that nobody probably really cares about. I forget what it was.
We're gonna give you an Instapot.
We're gonna put all that out, and then we're gonna be like, we're gonna record Social Bunny again, and then it's gonna be, guess what, Jess? You gotta put something in now because we put more shit out.
Put something else in.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for you to record your episode, finish it, and then we're gonna release something real quick.
And then poor Jess is gonna have to be like, oh my god, here we go again. So, last minute, they didn't tell us this, but here's what you're getting.
And it's still shitty. You're welcome.
It's some kind of like new mechanic like they're implementing. And it's like, we don't care. We want, like, what were they saying? They were going to put lore back in. Like, put the lore back in.
Would love it. Would so love it.
Yeah.
Give us some more lore. Tell us what happened to Bella. What about what's up with the kids? Where are the kids? Oh, they're grandkids. Where are we at? Let's go. Where are they at? It's okay. You know, of course, you can't have an episode of Me Thought Salt. And we're about to go right into how much salt I have.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Okay. Ready to move on to the Urbz?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So the Urbz was the third game in the era, and it was intended to be the first until Edge of Reality allowed the Sims 1 port to release. So it was going to be first, but then they didn't. Good thing they did it first, because people wouldn't have fucking played it.
So, thinking about that, though, and then, like, the Black Eyed Peas being in this game, that would not... Well, no, if it came out in 2003, I guess, because didn't Where Is the Love come out around when 9/11 happened? So, and that's what kind of made them popular, I feel like.
Because Urbz came out in like 2004-ish, I think, right?
Yes, November 2004.
Okay, so apparently...
the height of their stuff.
Sims in this game were called Urbz. They weren't even called Sims because... This time, living in the city of Urbzville, which is broken into 9 districts. This is the first time we have seen Sims living in a big city instead of living at mom's. You live in a very small apartment and work your way up to a penthouse. The console version has the R&B group, pop group, let's call it what it is,
yes.
Black Eyed Peas, which provided several music scores for the game, translated into Simlish.
And can I say, one of their songs has a word that is not okay to say anymore. It's the R word. Luckily, that's in Simlish because, they had a radio version too where they don't even say the R word.
It was Let's Get It Started.
Yeah. And then they put it in Simlish so you don't hear that word, but that's already kind of starting to...
Here we go.
Going on a fence.
So your objective is to gain rep in order to unlock VIP clubs and new apartments and move into the next district. You gain rep by making new friends. In addition to gaining rep, you must also make sure that your herb has its needs fulfilled, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. As the player progresses through the game, they'll get messages for it from Darius, the sim with the highest rep in the city. There are other challenges for helping Urbz get money from people or taking pictures of Urbz. There are 3 villains in this game. Yorgu McBain, Harry Snivel, and Kiki Blunt, who are defeated by using power socials. So guys, I need you to understand, remember the names for other people? They were all like, Malcolm and, Mimi and Dudley. Okay. Well, here's the characters in this one. In Skyline Beach, Lobit is the leader. Toots Sweet.
Ew.
Ridiculous DOG
Mm.
Ice and S.A. Loco
That made me
are
uncomfortable.
the characters. This is the tagline for it. Welcome to Tar Beach. # Black Beach. Because tar is black.
Ouch.
Situated high above 125th Street. It's the closest you can get to the beach in the Urbz. So bring some suntan lotion. Again, this is how you know this was written by a white person. Black people, especially in the 2003 4s, we won't write fucking suntan lotion because we don't tan. And a lot of attitude, and be ready to show your stuff at a moment's notice. What does that even mean? Or you'll be outlawed, just like those pigeon coops from this open top city neighborhood. These are the locations. ISIS ferret boxing.
That always made me like so uncomfortable because you're like stuffing ferrets in the boxes and
the Red Room. Dog's House O Style. Rooftop barbecue. And roof tanning, which makes no sense with all everything you did. Because again, POCs don't really tan on purpose. But okay. And this is what you did. So then you can go to Gasoline Row.
and it's like a biker.
With these people. Pork Chop, Duke Headbutt, Sharky Spitz, Susie Mac, and Jet Rocket. Don't dismiss this area thinking it's all gas pumps and mini marts. It's a haven for certain elements. What elements?
Right.
But the excellent location on the highway makes it an eclectic meeting place and a great place to go when you're looking for a good time. It's all about attitude. Locations. Splits Leather Emporium. Duke's Chop Shop. That's your job. Working at a chop shop. Not a farm.
Yikes.
Not working at a museum or something. No. A chop shop. You get the back room, the biker bar, and my favorite, community sausages.
This kind of all screams gay porn. Community sausages.
Anybody else thinking this is just the gay section of the like community sausages? The back room? The Leather Emporium?
And you know what? That's all fine. We are all supportive. However, this kind of blatant and
it's not even that. I don't care about that part. It's so stereotypical.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep going because it doesn't stop. We have the Central Station with Kid Chaos, Scary Mary, Frag Girl, Beelzebub Jones, and Genghis Lincoln.
And these were goth people, and I loved this one.
This is the underground haven for some of the seedier denizens, Lincoln's booth.
So we're all seedy citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, piercings, tattoos.
Mary's Puncture Parlor, because apparently only people who get... Okay. The Cage and Subway Arcade. Oh, but did you want to go to Kicktail Park instead? That's where String Bean, Rolanda Sky, Trang Hang... skid mark. So
Ew.
the thing in your poop, the thing in your panties, the skid marks in your underpants, is the leader. And Alley Style. The description. The description. Bump and Grind takes on a different meaning in this concrete-rich, spark-throwing district. What was the first meaning, Urbz? What was the first meaning of Bump and Grind? You don't see nothing wrong, huh? With a little bump and grind? Gross fucks. Grab your board, throw on your baggy pants, and tuck the hat down as low as it'll go. I fucking can't. You've just broken through the barrier into Kicktail Park, the premier location for skateboarding fanatics and a totally chill place to hang.
I will say I did love this because I didn't skateboard. However, every person that I was into skateboarded back in the day. So I loved this. However,
it's just a lot.
Yes.
Because you can go to the Grunge, Skids Half Pipe, Floaters Air Bar, Major Monkey's Ice Cream Emporium. and Kick Till Arcade.
Which, in the skater scene, arcades were kind of a big thing.
I mean, I'm down for it. It's whatever. I'm not. It's just the names.
Yeah. Yes. The names are very. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then so then you have the Foundry, which is Crispin Black as a leader, Bella Chow, Neo Flange, Roxana Hardplace, and Arthur Pop. So if you want to get back away from the traffic and crowds to kick back and become into a more bohemian populace, head to the Foundry. Years ago, artists seeking affordable housing, open space, and a lifestyle away from the mainstream metropolis seeped. Were they like leaking into this deteriorating industrial district and gave it a new verve? The fuck is a verve? They converted the abandoned warehouses into lofted art studios, independent galleries, and coffee shops buzzing with shop talk and politics.
So gentrification.
Visitors are invited to pull up a chair at a local coffee shop or stroll through the galleries with wine glasses in hand. It's just a place full of ponytailed hipsters.
Yes.
Fucking A. Then you go to Neon East, which is where Professor Chewy, Mizuko Jackson is a leader, Loop D, Loop-de-Loop, Venus Moonflower, and Serotonin. This is where you go to get high.
Yep.
This little spot in the northeast corner is where the gadget-loving rave crowd hangs out. Yeah. It's going to keep throwing in the stereotypes. Don't let all the flashing lights and metallic clank of falling pachinko balls. What the fuck is a gambling's paradise? And Neo-Tokyo architecture throw you. Don your day glow vibrating jumpsuits.
What? What?
Where does it vibrate?
I know.
It's where am I bringing? And take a stroll through the Neo-Tory lined sidewalks and just take it all in. I don't want to. I don't. But if you want to go and find Black Eyed Peas, you have to go to the Cosmo Street, where will.i.am, Apple Diap, Fergie, Polo, and Taboo are. Yeah, it's the place for lyrics, libations, and lively attitudes. It's just a place to put their fucking characters. It was stupid. But you have Diamond Heights with Diva Roma, Babette Couture, Sophie Couture. They're all the leaders. Pootie Fads.
I hate
Pootie
that.
Fads. Pootie Fads. Pootie. And Cash Monet. Cash Monet.
I wanted to read this real quick because I researched this purposely because I thought it was hilarious. So I was like, who the hell's Polo? He's definitely not in the Black Eyed Peas. He was their tour manager, and then he got sued by Perez Hilton.
Why?
Because Perez Hilton said that he used him as a punching bag after one of those award shows. I think it was like the AMAs. And he sued him for battery and $25,000 in emotional distress. I don't remember if he won or not.
Perez Hilton's trash.
Yes. But this is a very...
That's hilarious. But Perez Hilton is total hot
yes.
basura. Okay. And you can go ahead and tell... I don't care if you're listening to Perez Hilton. I still think you're hot. Still think you're fucking... literally, you're a skid mark up there. It's fine.
Yeah. You're skid mark. And
you're a skid mark.
Polo to beat you up.
Mm-hmm. And all you can assume for is $25K?
Yeah.
That's how you know you were just trying to get some doll hairs. Because it wasn't like suing for like millions. You sold him $25K. He supposedly beat you up. Goodbye, Jan. Anyhow. So, and Diamond Heights, with Pootie Fads and Cash Monet. If you want to go all the way up to the top in the Urbz, your first stop should be Diamond Heights. Come down to the fashion district, but make sure to take the elevators all the way to the top floor. I don't understand. Like, why are these names? Are they supposed to be like drag queens? Or are they supposed to be like, I got nothing. And finally, if you make it all the way to the top, you have the South Side Bridge. The bridge where Louis Bricks is a leader. Why are there leaders of these places? I have no fucking clue. What are they, like the overlord? Are they like the one who run that corner? This is stupid.
And not all of them had leaders. Like the Black Eyed Peas, there was no leader.
Yeah, because that was the only one that wasn't trying to be urban, hood, so ethnic, so urban. I hate them.
Even though Fergie was culturally appropriating before.
Look, I remember when Fergie was in Wild Orchid, and they did that show called The Great Pretenders, where people, and I love that show, and their thing was, "You're the greatest singers and the greatest dancers, you're the great pretenders." But yeah, I remember this. This was a thing.
Family in the morning.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you're the only person in the world who ever gets that show existed. And you were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, basically, kids would get on there and they would dance. They would get all dressed up and they would compete who was the best lip singer and dancer for that, like the song that they were. It was basically like, what is it? Dance for Your Life and RuPaul's Drag Race, but it was basically like that, but not because they were all like lip singing and.
They dressed them up in like their costumes, and then like I remember like normally they would just like rip off the exact costume they wore in the music
video or whatever.
But they had the one with Britney Spears, and she did a song that was on the album, but Britney didn't release that as a single. So they just had her dressed up like Britney on the Baby One More Time. And I was like, how come this girl didn't get to dress up like the other ones?
No, and then also the lovely Fox family gave us the S Club 7 TV series.
You know? I still am obsessed with S Club 7.
Ain't no party like S Club Party.
Yes.
My sister and I religiously watched that show. My sister and I loved every song. We were jumping on a trampoline in the backyard trying to do the S Club thing in the air. Never Had a Dream Come True. If I ever get married, is gonna be the song I dance to, and I want to see if anybody gets it, anybody at all. I'm just gonna start playing it and be like looking at my sister like, okay. So last area, by the way, in the Urbz is the Southside Bridge with Louis Bricks as the leader, Luke LaRuffle.
From what I gather, this is supposed to be the Mafia.
Babs Margarita, Pamela Sneer, and Jimmy Two Shoes. What made you think that? What made you think it? What? How did you come to that conclusion?
Jimmy Two Shoes.
Jimmy Two Shoes? Babs Margarita? What made you think that this was the Mafia?
And then you gamble. It doesn't say here. You gamble and you're playing like dice and stuff, and that's when I learned dice was a game.
I didn't know people actually did it outside of like TV shows until I went to Memphis like last month, and I saw people doing it outside of a fucking gas station, and I was like, oh my god, this is real. Yeah, I was in the hood. Memphis is the whole city of Memphis is like not the greatest except for like a street, and I wasn't ever on that street, so.
Oh.
So located directly under the Southside Bridge overpass, because that seems fun. This somewhat seedy neighborhood. Somewhat seedy? Was any else place not seedy that you were at except for the top of the fucking... No other... I'm done. Has a great view of the river. Yeah, you're under the fucking overpass. Of course you have the view of the river, my guy. You're right there. Standing on the docks in the shadow of the elevated... I thought that said elevated farm. It's just elevated train. I was like, what the fuck is an elevated farm? You can look across the dark blue waters to the tall buildings in the distance that you can never get to because you are apparently scum who live under a bridge. Watch your step in Southside because there are some tough characters wandering around, and you wouldn't want to end up sleeping with the fishes, would you? This game is every fucking stereotype thrown into a game. Every stereotype you can think about any ethnic group that's not a white person thrown into this game. The white people that you do see are the ones who are the fashion people living on the fashion district. Everybody else is of some sort of like ethnicity, but they're all Urbz because you can't call anybody a Sim because Sims are separate. Sims are separate than the urban people. And this game is so problematic to my brain. Yeah. And it was problematic to my brain when I played it. I played it for 4.5 seconds and I was like, I'm uncomfy. So yeah, you have Babs Beauty Barn, Louis Flameworks, and the Lucky Six, which is the gambling place. That's where you can go. Like, they literally stereotyped Italians. They stereotyped, Asians. They stereotyped groups of people. Like they like stereotyped the like hipsters, basic artistic people, and made them into a really shitty cliche. They stereotyped anybody in the grunge scene,
in the goth
scene, in the skater scene, anybody who was black of any kind of sort. They took all of the black stereotypes. There's a fucking place called Rooftop Barbecue. Have you ever had barbecue in The Sims?
Not before this, never. You don't have, like, you do now because you have the grills, but, like, you don't.
But, I mean, like,
yeah.
The grills, you're making hamburgers and hot dogs. You're not making anything else.
Right.
I'm talking about barbecue. You literally... This game, and I don't understand how it made it off of the cutting room floor, how nobody was like, but that's why it's super important for representation. Like, you had not now one person of color sitting at that table, and this is what you get. When you have a table full of white men, this is what you get.
See, I'm sure people probably can tell. I'm white, so I was also in a slightly more privileged spot back in the day because, like, I didn't know. I went to Catholic school. And I was white, and I lived in, like, a majority white town. I didn't know what was offensive or not. I'm like, oh, I'm just playing this game. And it's got the Black Eyed Peas. How ridiculous is that? I didn't realize till just now, in doing the research even, it was like, this is kind of stereotypical. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not okay. But back in the day, like, they didn't care. Like,
they did not. Well, there are a lot of things I'm like, look, everything, people are sometimes a little bit overly sensitive to some things, and I'm like, but this shit was bad. So you had, like, rep groups, okay? So you know you have to get rep to, like, move forward as opposed to money. You need rep. So, like, you had 4 different groups known as the rep groups. So the game asks a series of questions to decide which rep group that your herb will go into. Each group consists of 4 herbs, not including the player, and has their own rep leader. When all 10 bars of the player's herb are green, the sim can talk to the rep leader and change groups. But you have to, like, fill out a little questionnaire at the beginning, and that's how you're going to figure out what group you're in. You have the Streeties, with Darius as your leader. If the player answers the first answer for the first quiz question, they'll end up as a Streety. The group member consists of Darius, Chris, Thistle, Ewan, Wantum.
This one's for the handheld, by the way.
Yeah. But so then, and Crystal. The item for the group is the Ultimate MPD stereo system, which allows the player to play any music on the game. The rival are the Richies. So, of course, the Streeties' rivals are the Richies. Because apparently the Streeties are poor. And they're more, of course, and Darius is their leader. Then you have the Nerdies. The Nerdies group leader is Polynomial. And then you get the Mad Skills Cerebral Data Infuser. The Nerdies are Polynomial, Maximilian Moore, Lincoln Broadsheet, and Supernova. Supernova.
Oh, what is the Broadsheet? I don't get that one.
Broadsheet.
Lincoln
Broadsheet. I don't know, maybe like a spreadsheet.
Oh.
They oppose the Arties because, the Nerdies and the Arties can never get along. And the Richies, led by Luther L. Big Bucks, and his followers consisted of Misty Waters, Lily Gates, and Lottie Cash. Do those names sound a little white to you?
Yeah.
As opposed to Darius, Chris Thistle, and Ewan Wanami and Crystal with the C. Just saying. Anyway, and they don't even have last names. Like, if a player chooses, the third option for the first question, which is money, they'll end up in the Richies. And then your item is a sensory deprivation chamber, which fills up all motives, which we already have. We have that in the Sims 4. That weird pod thing.
That's a very white thing to do, too.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it?
That was like, I remember Madonna, when she was into Cabal around that time, she talked about those. And, yeah.
And so, side note, I have done one of those before, just recently, because I just was bored, and I did one, but I had to go to the white area, the rich white area, to go find a place to go do it at. Also, it is kind of weird.
I want to do it, but like you said, it is in, like, around here, it's in the rich white people areas, and like that's something that now as an adult I probably could find a Groupon to do it.
I did. That's how I did it. I found a Groupon. So then you have the arties. The artsy leader is Carney, and then you have Roxanne and Moxie.
No, she's a carny, like
she's a carny, like a carnival carny.
Yes, that's what they are. They're for carnivals.
Oh,
yep.
Well, shit. Roxanne and Moxie, Cannonball Coleman, Pritchard Loxley, and Teresa Bullhorn. Oh, you can get the bod changer. Allows the player to change their skin and hair color. That makes sense. All of this is just shitty. They were going to make a sequel, and I'm really glad that somebody was like, we shouldn't. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't do this. I don't know what made them stop doing it, but I feel like it was just someone being like, hey, let's not. I just have so much anger towards this game for no reason.
I can see why, because like I said, that's more eye-opening now that I've heard it from someone else's point of view, rather than just like my little white bubble of, oh, this is just a stupid game with, like, it's got stereotypes, definitely, and that's not something we can do nowadays because that's not okay. But back in the day, I'm just like, oh, this is a weird game. This is kind of funny, and this is racist, but it's 2004. We don't know any better in our stupid little white bubbles.
And like, I can't get super, super, super mad at it because, you know, it is an object of the time, but I just really feel like somebody
could have stopped at some point.
Yes. Somebody should have said fucking something. And they didn't. And that is what's the most, that is why representation needs to be there.
Yes.
You need to have representation. You have to have somebody in there in the room where it happens, if you will.
Because even back in the day, as an LGBT person, we didn't have representation, and when we had representation,
it was camp as fuck.
Yes.
It was your sassy gay friend.
Yes.
Who never had a love interest.
Girls who liked other girls unless they were like, they just made them look like the dumpiest stereotypes of what people think that, like, the more masculine type lesbians look like.
Or they looked like straight up like super glam, like lipstick lesbians.
Yes.
And there was never just a normal looking person. And it always was like some super over the top thing. And it was always like, oh, she's experimenting, and
yes.
Blah, blah, blah. It was never like, this is just my life. And I was listening to this Taraji P. Henson, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's an actress, and she has a Facebook series, whatever, on Facebook Watch, and she was talking about, in that one episode, it's called something peace on Facebook, but in one of the episodes, she was talking about mental health and stuff like that, and PTSD and things like that. And one of the things she was talking about was like, she's like, I don't understand why people who, you know, of the LGBTQ group have to have a coming out. Why do you have to come out? We don't come out as straight. Why do you have to come out as anything else? Why is it a big production? It's just like, why does it have to be a thing? Like, I don't walk around I don't walk around and I contemplate, okay, well, I have to tell my parents I'm straight.
Right.
Like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to tell my friends I'm straight. All I do is I'm like, hey, that guy's cute. Like, what do you think about that guy? Like, that, it's not I don't ever have to, like, I never had to identify myself. I just was like, I think that guy's cute. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why it has to be a big production, which is not taking, because coming out is a very, personal, private thing, but it's also a very, thing. But I just feel like there's so much stress and pressure and stigma and fear about it. And I'm just like, but nobody else has to do that shit. I don't have to come out and say, oh, mom, dad, I like redheads. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Do you see how stupid that sounds? Like, why do I have to do that? I don't have to do that. I just bring somebody home and this is who I want to be with. Like, but it's frustrating. And I know why people have to do it, but it's just frustrating that they have to do it.
Right. Because, like, technically, I am in a straight appearing relationship, but I am a bisexual person. So it's like, it would be weird if all of a sudden, if God forbid something happened, and I'd be like, hey, I've got a girlfriend, and the only people who don't know are my family, which they're not listening because they don't care. It would be weird if I was just like, hey, this is my girlfriend, and they're like, are you going through a phase? What's going on here?
And I'm like, no, I mean, the same phase that I go through when I liked super nerdy guys, and I went through a phase where I like big beefy guys, and I went through.
Right.
I guess that's just who am I attracted to at this moment,
right?
And that's about as much of a phase as this is right now. It's not a phase; it's just my attraction at the moment,
right? And like you had like, oh, are they wanting attention? Back in the day, it's like I even remember I didn't come out to my friends in high school because they were like, well, people who are like both genders, they just want attention. And I'm like, guess I gotta hide this for a little while longer.
Right? It's like, no, I don't want attention. I don't want you to talk to me. Don't look at me. I don't need you.
And then they would hit on everyone. So it was like, oh, bisexual people would just hit on everyone. And it's like, most of you are not my type.
And that's why I feel about people when guys are like, well, I don't want a gay guy in my locker room.
Right.
He's gonna hit on me. And I was like, my guy, no one wants to hit on you. You look like you smell like hot dog water and sadness. No one wants you. Not the women, not the men, not anybody. Because you don't, I mean, just because, again, that's like saying, okay, well, I like redheads. Not every redhead.
Yes.
Because you don't look cute to me. You do. You don't look cute to me. You do. Like, that's just how that is. Like, it's not just because I like a certain thing doesn't mean I like all of those things. It also doesn't mean that I'm going to actually end up with that thing. It just means that at this time, I think that those are, you know what I mean? It's stupid. I hate it all. Anywho.
Yeah. And representation for everyone. Not everyone, though. It's gotten a lot better. I feel. But it's not perfect. We've got quite a bit of ways to go. Because there's still offensive stereotypes in certain games that probably shouldn't be here in 2021.
I agree. One of the things that I love the most, and I'll bring up in Dragon Age, one of the characters his name is Dorian. He's one of my favorite characters. And he is only attracted to male characters. So if you're a female and you try to hit on him, he'll entertain it for a little bit just because it's fun. But then if you try to make it serious, he's like, nah, girl, you're not my type.
Aww.
But leave it at that. But they never come out and say anything about it. It's never a huge deal. But then they have another character, Iron Bull, who doesn't matter what you are, he doesn't give a fuck. And it's like, but it's never been it was never a huge thing about it. It's just like they even have a trans character.
I thought that I heard about
in Dragon Age. What is their name? It's one of Iron Bull's chargers. And it's never meant, and you can ask about stuff, and then but like, I'm just so and so. You're like, okay. And if you ask Iron Bull about them, Iron Bull's just like, they're a great fighter. That's all I care about. Creme. Her name is Creme. Their name's Creme.
LGBTQ positive. I'm trying to think of a better word, but I cannot. But he is very LGBTQ positive, and I love him now. And now I'm going to play Iron Bull.
I love Iron Bull so much. It's actually voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh my god, I love that.
Freddie Prinze Jr. actually voices a lot of BioWare. Like, if you played Mass Effect, he is in there as well. He voices a lot of character. He does a lot of character voices on video games. But yeah, he is Iron Bull in Dragon Age Inquisition.
That is so cool. Now I really want to play.
It's great. Also, Iron Bull is probably one of my favorite romanceable people because, like, you can just have like a purely sexual relationship with him if you want to, like, a physical relationship. But you can also ask if you want to make it more, and then he's like, "Are you sure? Or you can just keep doing this. It's not a big deal to me." But you're like, "I want to do more." Then you have to do a quest to bring him something to like show you want more. But
that's fun.
But he's just like. And if you do want just a sexual relationship with him and then you actually want to romance another character, he'll be like, this is cool. You want us all to be together or not? Or are you just going to be over them? And he doesn't get hurt by it unless you do it after you make it official with him. Then he gets hurt.
He's Polly. That's so sweet.
It's a lot. I love Iron Bull as a character. And he also asks you the first time you flirt with him and say you want to do something with him. He's like, "Oh, you want to ride the bull?" And it makes me really uncomfy, and I love it so much.
I love that. So
He's my favorite.
we're out here with good representation. Like, I'm sure nerds love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't mean to stereotype people, but I know mostly nerds play, like, those style of games.
If you go to the bonus episode that Ava and I did, it's all about Dragon Age.
Okay.
It was supposed to be Dragon Age and Mass Effect, but it just became Dragon Age.
Here's another disclaimer I'm going to throw in, because I'm sure you agree, but me and Jess said it last time. We don't remember what we talk about, so, like...
Oh, not at all.
I could have listened to that episode, but I don't remember, because I don't remember what I've said in certain episodes, and I'm sorry in advance if I did offend anyone, but I don't remember what I said, so I'm like, oh, did I say that? Oh, my bad.
At the end of the day, I don't remember what I said yesterday or this morning. So, I have the memory of a goldfish.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. It's ADHD. I can't help you, and I didn't take any Adderall this morning because I'm waiting to do my test and take my Adderall for that. So, that's all I got. Anywho, so I guess that's our take on Sims Console.
Oh, the canceled sequel. I'll go through that real quick.
Oh, yeah. The sequel that never was because it shouldn't have been in the first place.
So, essentially, because I did talk about this a little bit in the Sims 2 episode, essentially, there was going to be Urbz 2, and it says they started development, and it would have introduced online play, multi-story housing, and children, and it would have been on PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and 05. They canceled it due to poor sales, which, glad they did. And then they just turned it into Sims 2 for the console. And then people said that basically, like, they went through and they, like, found a bunch of stuff. I don't know how people do this on console stuff.
I could not tell you.
You're right. Like, they go in and they find, like, all the elements that were supposed to have been in there. They found textures, ringtones, thumbnails. And then, like, this girl that was on the box art, the purple-haired girl, her name is Jade, she was supposed to have been the main character. Or, no, she was a sidekick, my bad. And they would have brought back some characters from the Game Boy Advance and the Black Eyed Peas, which I don't know, maybe they were running until recently. They were still pretty popular until, like, the last probably 10 years when Fergie left, and now they're just doing weird songs with, like, what was that song they redid? They, like, remixed and redid an old song. Oh, I can't remember. It was recently, though.
I have no idea. I have not heard from them in, like, eons. I thought I couldn't tell you.
And fun fact, I share a birthday with Fergie and Mariah Carey, but I do not claim them, but I share one with Brenda Song also, and I claim her.
I love Brenda Song. Hashtag y'all, everybody watch Dollface on Hulu because it's hilarious.
Yes! And nobody else I know watches that either. They're like, well, that's a weird show. There's a talking cat head.
Look, the talking cat head was my favorite part, okay? Like, when she opened up that bus and the talking cat head was driving the bus, like, I need everyone to watch that show for that reason alone.
Yes.
But it's also relatable. Like, it's...
Yes.
It's about people who, disappear when they get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner or whatever, and then they break up and you're like, oh shit, I have no friends.
Yes, and please, like, I stress this a lot, especially to you younger listeners. Don't abandon your friends. They're gonna be there. That boy probably isn't, or girl, boy or girl. If your partner is saying, don't talk to your friends anymore.
Your partner's a piece of shit.
Yes, unless you feel your friends are shitty people. Your partner's an abusive asshole, don't listen to them. Please take this from older people who have gone through that themselves.
Yes. If your partner is telling you that you don't need that, your friends are all trash and your family's all trash and all you need is them, they're trash, run screaming, run away.
Yes.
Run away!
Make peace with yourself. You are your own best friend. And also find your friends. They're out there. We'll be your friends too.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I have a shoot-out.
Oh, let's do your shout out.
Okay. Well, so Noah sent us an email, and I was going to reply back to Noah, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till I do a recording, and we're going to talk about it then. So I am going to read it, and Noah said, Hey, I've previously written a review on Apple Podcasts, but I'm making another because I love this show so much. We love you, Noah. I just wanted to say how much listening to this podcast helps me. Typically, I listen while I mow, do homework, and clean. Noah's 15!
Aww.
And this is my freshman year. I'm a Stu co-chairman and the class president. So Noah's an overachiever.
Yes.
I'm trying my best to get a 4.0 every quarter this year. Right now, I don't have anything under a 98. Baby.
Oh, honey.
Baby, don't work yourself to the bone. Enjoy being 15, okay?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
You wake up and you're 32 and you're like, what did I do with my life?
Mm-hmm. After a day of really difficult work, it makes me so happy to hear all of you, who I now consider my friends, talk about the game I love so much. As your honorary auntie, take time to be a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
I've been listening since 2018 when I was 11. First things first, this made me realize that we've been on for like 3 years. And then second thing second, you were 11? I said some shit.
We just hit 3 years, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I was like, I said some shit, and 11-year-olds are listening to that. Your podcast convinced me to buy the game, and it helped me really learn my playing style. I'm a builder, and I'm currently working on a build for Ava's challenge. I think you should do many more challenges in the future. I really enjoy them. Look, bruh, if it has all the building, then more power to y'all. But remember, I'm an amalgam of rooms. Thank you so much for being there for me and providing new entertainment to listen to. Love you all so much, Noah. Hashtag horses for vanity. I have a cult. Horses and vanity cult.
Stoves? Let's give you some new stoves.
Yes, stoves and horses for vanity. Also, Noah, thank you. I love that you listen, and I love that you've been like an OG listener.
Yes.
I hope that all of our sass, salt, and cursing did not hurt your ears too much. I hope you're not a Patreon, because some of those episodes in the bonus episodes weren't. We released them during COVID.
Which one?
Wicked Whims. We released Wicked Whims during COVID because it was a Patreon episode, and then we released it, and that's when you got that person saying, "My kid is in the car," and we were like, "Sorry, Karen. The episode title is Wicked Whims. What the hell did you think it was going to be about?"
Google Wicked Whims before you just like blindly listen to it, honey. And then we're like, we got to put these behind a paywall now. So like we've got Basemental, which is and then we're working on Sacrificial, and Sacrificial is a little more risque than Basemental. Yeah.
So that's the thing. So if you want to hear any of those, or the rant about Mass Effect and Dragon Age, which is really just about Dragon Age, then you can be one of our patrons.
Yeah. And we'll talk to you on the Discord, and there's a book club, I think, even.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But if you just want to like follow us and see what we're doing, you can follow us on all the social medias. We are PlumBobcast on Instagram and Twitter. We are Plumbod. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit, or Under the Plumbob Podcast on Facebook and the Tums. That's Tumblr for all you not in the know. Or you can go to plumbobcast.com, which is our website. And on there, you can see all of our sim selves. You can see all of that. And then you can also do a contact form, and you can email us, just like Noah did, and tell us what you love, what you don't love, whatever. But if you don't want to go to the website, you want to go directly to it, you can just go to your email provider and type in Under the Plumbob Podcast at gmail.com and shoot us an email. It's attached to my phone. I read them all. I do work a lot and I school, hence to be saying I'm going to take a test after this. So if I don't reply to you, know that I will put it in our thingies and somebody will read it out loud and we'll talk about it then. Okay.
And we do realize that Under the Plumbob Podcast at gmail.com is a lot, because we have to type it in anytime we sign into things, and we're like, oh my God, why did we do this to ourselves?
I've missed, and it was my fault. I made that Gmail, and I was just like, this is right? This sounds good, right? Did not realize that it was going to be a bitch.
Yes. 3 years later, and we type it into everything, and we're like, oh, whoops.
Yep.
Why did we do that?
But also, so if you do like us, please click on the Apple Podcast little purple icon or whatever, and rate and review us. So if you just rate us, it doesn't like help a lot. You have to put something in the review box. So just, you know,
Oh, I didn't know
horses. That. Yeah, because if it doesn't hit the algorithm right. So if you do like horses for Vanity, or Vanity, no one wants horses, or man, the Urbz was pretty problematic, or you can just, you know, tell us your favorite sim. That's fine.
Yes.
Well, the one you hate the most. Looking at you, Marcus. But yeah, just if you have to put something, you have to put something in there. So Apple Podcasts and Spotify are the ones that are important for rating and reviewing purposes. I don't know why. Don't ask me the questions. It's just what it is. But the more you rate and review, the higher up we get into like those little things, more people can hear us. When people hear us, then we can do more. Because right now we all work full time, so we can only do what we can do. So,
and we have crazy social lives outside of that.
Yes, or just anxiety. That too. But we're on all the platforms. If you want us on a particular platform, you're like, I've switched to using this and I don't have your podcast. Shoot us an email. Let us know. We'll figure it out. I want to thank Jen here for all of the writing and the research. And also she's Sims Wiki now, so.
Yeah, I'm famous-ish.
Famous! We have a famous person on our life.
I went to Sims Fandom Wiki, and then I found an article on thegamer.com that just listed the busting out and handheld console differences. Other than that, Sims Wiki, as Jess always says, that's our house. That's where we get everything besides out of our brains.
It's our bread and butter.
Right.
That and Carl. I still love you, Carl, by the way. Just know that I've never stopped loving you, Carl.
Even Carl's gotten salty lately, though, but I still appreciate him.
He has. It's okay, though. We get it. We all have. All right. So then I think that's it, except for thank you guys for listening. Thank you for, listening for 3 years and going through all of our shit and listening to all of our shit. It's been a fun ride with y'all. And I can't wait to see where else it goes.
Yep. 3 years. And we love each other and we love you. And we appreciate your support. And as we always say, go drink your water, go wash your hands.
And save your game.
Save your damn game.
Save your damn game. All right. I think that's it. So we're going to go back to the real world now, where I'm going to go study. Whoop, whoop. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Badish. Dag dag.